I'm giving away a free bike, y'all. This bike right here, the State 4130, it could be yours. Subscribe to the channel, comment below, tag 2 friends in that comment. You could also go to Instagram at RadDadDizzle, comment on a post that I have over there, tag 2 friends. I'm going to take one person from the YouTube comments, one person from the Instagram comments. They're going to go head to head. It's all going to be random generated, and one of those 2 is going to get that bike. Stay tuned.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Drew Dillman YouTube channel. Today we're talking bikes, specifically State Bicycle Company. Now, I've had the privilege of riding State bikes for the entire 2024 season, and I'm pretty darn proud to represent this brand. They're doing some pretty cool things. To start off, basically their entire mission is to make bike riding more accessible to more people because they think it's such a cool sport that they want more people to do it. So they're all about making good bikes at good prices, which is pretty cool.
Saving money, duh.
They've got this repertoire of maybe being some budget bikes, and so be it. But if those budget bikes are pretty good, then they're doing something pretty cool because more people are getting into cycling because they can actually afford these bikes, unlike a lot of the other cycling companies out there. Now, today I'm going to run you through all of the different bikes that State has to offer specifically for gravel riding and racing, since that's most of what I'm doing nowadays anyways. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to go from the bottom to the top. The first one up to bat is their steel gravel bike. It's the State All Road 4130. Comes in at $900. This is a complete bike, like ready to ride.
That's right.
Outside of pedals. Like the only thing it doesn't come with is pedals. And I think there's even an option to add pedals if you want to as well. $900 for a full bike, ready to ride, out of the box. Another good thing to mention is these bikes are really easy to build too. They come pretty much pre-assembled. You just have to throw the wheels on. I don't even think you have to put the back wheel on. I think you just have to put the front wheel on and the handlebars on, and you're ready to roll in the seat. And so, super easy to build, $900. This is steel. It weighs 27 pounds. So on the heavy side for sure. When you go to the comments for this bike, the comment that everybody was leaving on the State website was that this is a solid bike. This is not a race bike. I mean, let's be real. It weighs 27 pounds. It costs less than $1,000. But the good things are it's durable. It's pretty much indestructible. It's going to last a long time. It costs less than $1,000, and you can assemble it in probably less than an hour straight out of the box because they deliver them right to your house. Now, just to prove this point, me and my buddy Trey, we built, I think, 6 State bikes in less than 2 hours. And this was one of those bikes, and super easy to build. Like, we were sitting there thinking this was going to take way longer, and it took less than 2 hours because State does most of the heavy lifting for you so that you feel pretty comfortable doing it on your own. Now, however, one thing to note about this, the assembly, is that if you want the bike to be included in the 5-year warranty that State has to offer, you do have to have it professionally assembled, and you have to submit that proof of build so that it can be included in that 5-year bike warranty. All right, next up is the State All Road 6061. This is their aluminum offering for gravel riding and racing. Now we're kind of stepping in the, a little bit more direction towards this is a nicer bike. You could probably race this bike. It's going to cost you $1,400. It's going to weigh about 22 pounds with the stock wheels and the stock build. Now, if you were to buy just the frame, that's going to cost you $650, and it weighs 5 pounds, 4 ounces. So even just looking at the steel versus the aluminum bike, you're only going to pay about, $500 more for the aluminum bike. Same components, same wheels, all that, just swapping out the frame. But you're going to save 5 pounds. So that's $100 a pound. That is pretty worth it. When you talk about people who are spending $100 just to upgrade, actually they're spending like $200 just to upgrade their pulley wheels on their derailleur, $100 to save a pound is like a mega bargain. Now, here's another cool thing that State does. When you go to buy a bike, there are like 20 different things of options for upgrades that you can put onto that bike. You can change the wheel size. You can change what kind of cranks you want, what kind of tires you want. You can add saddlebags and all kinds of stuff. But the two big ones are the drivetrain and the wheels. You have the option right there when you're buying the bike to upgrade the drivetrain and the wheels. Now, the State all-road group set that comes on all of their gravel bikes only comes in at $350, and this comes stock on all their bikes, so it's right there in the price. I was very curious about this group set. So a couple of the bikes that I had ordered, I left the stock group set on there because I wanted to actually see if this group set was good. And I would say it's pretty good. And it's functional. It works. I never had anything go wrong on all the times that I was riding these group sets. I had nothing go wrong. So I think it's worth the money. And again, the money is only $350. However, if you were to do an upgrade, I would say that the first thing you should upgrade would be the drivetrain. And the cool thing about the option for the upgrade on the drivetrain is that they have the SRAM Axis Apex group set for $900. This group set normally costs $1,200, but because you're swapping it out for that $350 State group set, they're going to go ahead and knock off the $300 for that upgrade, which is pretty cool that they're going to do that. And then also you can get a pair of, I think, DT Swiss aluminum gravel wheels. You can upgrade your wheels for only $450. So like a $450 wheel set is pretty good deal as well. And then you also have other options to go even higher. Like if you want to get some Envy wheels, you can upgrade those for like $1,000 or something like that. So you have the option to pick and play whatever you want on that bike. And I would say that it's more beneficial for you to upgrade that group set when you buy the bike because you're going to get that $300 credit towards that group set. You've got yourself a pretty darn good bike right there for less than $2,500. Like, that's pretty sweet. Not to mention, I can't believe I haven't said this yet. Not to mention that if you use my Rad Dad State 24, type those words in, Rad Dad State 24, at checkout, you'll save 10%. So that $2,500 bill now only is $2,250 because you just saved $250 on that order.
Look at you saving us money.
Now, next up is the State Carbon All-Road, which is the bike that I was racing all year. This bike is going to cost you about $2,000 for this full stock build. So that's the State components, State wheels, all of their in-house products. $2,000. I'm pretty sure there's all kinds of articles out there that talk about how this is might be the only carbon race bike for less than $2,000. That's a pretty cool metric, or a pretty cool award, if you want to call it that. Or you could just buy the frame for $1,300, and the frame set, the frame and the fork, weighs in at 3 pounds and 11 ounces. That's what I did. I built my bike up with full Vision FSA cockpit, Vision wheels, like Vision race wheels, the SRAM Axis Force group set, so not the nicest one, but the one below that. And I think the stock build weighs 21-ish pounds if you were to get it with the stock wheels, stock components. And my race bike, fully decked out, ready to race, was right around 18.5 pounds. And so you're probably not going to get it much lighter than maybe 17.5 pounds if you were to upgrade the group set to like SRAM Red and maybe get some lighter wheels. Maybe you could get it down to 17 pounds, not sure. But my race bike for this year was about 18.5 pounds. Now that's with pedals, that's with sealant, that's with bottle cages, that's with like everything minus the actual bottles themselves. Like, it's ready to go.
That's right.
So this was my race bike for the 2024 season. So what do I have to say about it now that the 2024 season is over? And I'd say I don't have any complaints. I like it. Going into the season, I was a little nervous. I'm like, okay, I've never ridden this bike before, and I'm already committed to riding it for the whole year. This could be really bad. Like, if this bike is bad, I might have just shot myself in the foot for the entire 2024 season. But at no point this year did I have that thought. I legitimately liked the bike. I raced the bike Never had any complaints about it. Of course, I had it built up the way I had it built up with all those nice components, but you can do that too. You can buy a $1,300 frame and build it up with the nicest parts in the world and still save a ton of money when it's all said and done. The biggest thing that I would have to say here is it exceeded my expectations. I was kind of thinking like for a frame this cheap, it's probably going to break. Basically raced one bike for the entire 2024 season without any issues at all. And I did Unbound, I did the BWR events, I did a bunch of races on this bike, and I used it as my training bike almost exclusively because I was doing most of my training. I would just throw road wheels on it and train on this bike as well. So it has a ton of miles on it without any issues with the frame itself, which is pretty cool. Now, the biggest thing that's good about this frame is the tire clearance. Now, on the state website, it claims that it only fits 45 mil at the 700C wheel size. Now, I have raced this bike with 2.2 Continental Race Kings on a 700C wheel, and it's not gonna lie, it's darn close to the frame. There might be a little bit of paint missing on the inside of that chainstay, but I felt comfortable enough to actually race 2.2 mountain bike tires at BWR Mexico on the bike with 700C wheels. And I don't regret it. I think that was a pretty good setup. So if you're thinking about racing mountain bike tires, and you should, if you listen to the Bump Bros podcast, we talk about this every freaking week. We're talking about how much faster mountain bike tires are on gravel and rough surfaces, not faster on pavement. I can attest to that in BWR Mexico. I had to put out quite a bit more power on the paved sections, but as soon as we hit dirt, something about those mountain bike tires that really hooks up, and you can feel a difference. And even if you can't feel a difference, it doesn't matter because they're faster. So, but this bike can do that. Now, the other thing that I would recommend that you do if you are going to run mountain bike tires is to upgrade the fork, because the stock fork that comes on the Carbon All-Road is a more aggressive fork, meaning there's not a lot of space in there for mountain bike tires. So when I put the mountain bike tire on there, it was so close that all of the little hairs on the Conti Race King were rubbing the top of the fork, like the very top of the fork, and rubbed some of the paint away. Now, it's just the hairs, not the actual tread of the tire. But if you were to upgrade the fork for $300 to the Monster V2 fork, here's why you need this bigger fork. Mountain bike tires. 2.2s, y'all. This should open up the clearance for the MTB tire. Simple design. Take it out, flip it, put the screw back in, easy peasy. Whoa. Wow. I didn't even need to shave the hairs off. But overall, the Carbon All-Road, that would be the bike that I would put at the top of the list for the state bikes. But there is still one more bike on the list. And the grand finale is the Titanium All-Road that State has to offer. So this is a titanium frame. It's the newest bike to their gravel lineup. And it's also their most expensive bike. It's $2,500 for the complete build. And the frame alone is going to cost $1,300. That's without a fork. And the frame without a fork is also going to weigh 4 pounds and 3 ounces. All right, we got the Ty All-Road. This one I've got set up with my normal cockpit. These are 650B wheels with mountain bike tires. Dude, Gage Heck has been I think he was the youngest ever cyclocross US Pro Natty champ, and he won that race on a Ty frame.
There you go.
Dude, Ty is there a...
Ty is fly.
There you go, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. The only thing that I'm confused is, if this is the same price as the carbon bike, why wouldn't you just get the carbon bike? Unless you're just I guess there are those folks out there.
Unless you're just like a fly tie guy.
Like die-hard titanium people. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad bike. I'm just saying that
The
for
carbon
the
is
same price
way
as
faster.
The carbon's a little bit lighter, a little bit stiffer. I mean, if you are going off aesthetics, then maybe this one is the cooler one. But if you're going off of like whichever one's lighter,
Whichever one's
better
faster.
for racing, faster, I'd probably go with the carbon one. Now let's really put this into comparison. Let's compare this to Specialized. Specialized is probably the top of the line. This is what people think of as like the golden standard. If you were to buy their carbon gravel bike, the Specialized Crux, it's going to cost you $3,000. And that's going to cost you an extra $1,700 to save 8 ounces in comparison to the carbon all-road. $1,700 to save 8 ounces, worth it? I don't know. I'll let you decide.
Don't be stupid.
Now, if you were to go with a little bit of a more affordable approach and go with the Specialized Alloy Crux, which is, they also claim to be the lightest alloy bike, which they can have that. It's also the most expensive alloy bike. It's going to cost you $1,700, which is going to cost you about $1,000 for a 14-ounce improvement upon the alloy state, the state 6061. $1,000 for 14 ounces, worth it? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge.
Don't be stupid.
So what are my final thoughts on all of these bikes? Well, I'd say for somebody who's just now getting into cycling, or maybe they're into cycling but they want to try out gravel riding and they've never done that before, I'd say that the State 6061 alloy gravel bike is a great starter bike. And if you enjoy riding and you end up liking gravel, or if you know that you want to just go ahead and do this, I would say to upgrade the components first and then upgrade the wheels. And if you do that, you're going to have a pretty good darn bike. Now, if you're already into cycling and you like gravel cycling and you're maybe looking to upgrade your aluminum bike to a carbon bike, and maybe you also race, and here's another little stipulation, you have to pay for your own equipment, I would definitely go with the carbon all-road. Just compared to the Specialized Crux, you're going to save $1,700 between those frames, and you're only losing out on, what, 8 ounces? Like, what I would do is I would buy that carbon all-road, use the $1,700 I saved on the frame to upgrade the components and the wheels to have a better experience, because the components and the wheels are arguably going to make the bigger difference between the frames anyways, in my opinion. So the tire clearance on this bike is pretty darn good. So that's going to also allow you to run bigger tires, which is again going to improve the riding experience and the racing experience of this bike. And don't forget to use that code RADDADSTATE24 to save 10% on your entire state order. And if the code has changed, all you have to do is go to my most recent YouTube video to find all of the most recent codes, because sometimes you have to change those. And what I'd say is I'm super grateful to be riding state bikes. I'm grateful that they've supported me this year, and I've just had a blast representing this brand and what it stands for. I can really get down with their mission. They're trying to get more people on bikes at the end of the day. Cycling is an expensive sport.
No more bikes.
And it's for that very reason that I bet a ton of people don't even consider getting into cycling, because they know you got to buy a bike and you got to buy shoes and you got to buy the helmet and you got to buy all this gear.
Can't spend any money. I'm saving up for that bike I want.
So if we can lower that barrier of entry so that more people can get into cycling and realize and discover how awesome bike riding is, I can get down with that, and I want to support that. So I like what State is trying to do, and I'm grateful for the support they've given me. That's all I've got for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.